The pandemic has had a big impact on the way we interact with other humans, from remote learning for kids to having our takeout be left at the door rather than grabbing it directly from a delivery person. But COVID-19 has undoubtedly had one of the biggest effects on the workplace, with the switch to hybrid or remote work and increased reliance on social media and technology. A recent survey finds that 69% of employees are unsatisfied with their social connections at the office. 43% say they don't feel connected with their colleagues at all. Sociologist Tracy Brower says this is because we've, quote, elevated convenience over connection and just aren't in touch with human beings within the community as much as we used to be. And the author of that article, Tracy Brower, joins us now. She is a senior contributor at Forbes.com and Fast Company, and which is a business and technology magazine. Tracy, thank you. She is also, I should note, author of The Secrets to Happiness at Work and Bring Work to Life. So just the person to talk to. Tracy, you write that there is a difference between being lonely and being alone. Explain the difference to us.
Yeah, the difference is actually really important. One academic study suggests that when we're alone 75% of the time or more, then we're more likely to feel lonely. But the real crux is whether or not we've chosen to be alone. If everything's happening and we've been invited and we've decided not to partake, we tend not to feel lonely. But if we want to be involved and we haven't been invited, if we want to see our coworkers and we don't have the opportunity, if we don't have the choice to be with other people, that is when we're more likely to feel lonely instead of just alone. It's really about control.
And so how do we recognize loneliness at the workplace? Because, you know, a lot of times you can be in a day full of meetings, so you are not alone, but they can make you feel extremely lonely.
Yeah, I think there's actually a really interesting study that suggests that when we're in meetings, sometimes that can actually exacerbate the problem. Partly we want to be with people, but we also want to have the opportunity for more serendipitous interactions. We want to interact organically. We want to get recognition from colleagues. And that doesn't always happen in a scheduled way. That doesn't always happen in a meeting where we're very task-oriented and less relationship-oriented, chit-chatting, exchanging personal details, building relationships. And so that's why sometimes those meetings can actually get in the way of us feeling more connected to others.
And so what does this tell us? How should we think about the ongoing debate about hybrid work, in-person work, working from home, and all of the various permutations that have cropped up in the wake of the pandemic?
It's a great question. One of the things we know is that hybrid work, remote work are really here to stay. They've been on an upward trajectory for decades, and the pandemic accelerated that. However, we have in our society, as you talked about at the opening, really elevated convenience over connection. And we need those connections at both superficial levels and deeper levels to feel less lonely, to have mental health, to have less depression, less anxiety. So the workplace takes on an increasingly important role for us to feel seen, for us to feel connected. And so when we're working together, when we have the opportunity for meaningful work, when we feel connected based on purpose, when we have access to leaders, when we have access to colleagues, those actually move the needle in terms of our mental health and our reduced loneliness.
And so what about people who say, you know, I like some boundaries at my office? What do they do in this environment?
Yeah, that's the big thing. How do we make sure that we're connecting at work, whether we're remote, whether we're hybrid, how we have meaningful connections, and then how we also give people a sense of work-life fulfillment? 3 ideas here for you. One is we want to give people as much choice and control as possible. When people can make some of their own choices about when they come in, how much they come in, how they manage their own work, that's really helpful. We can't do that in all jobs, of course, but the more we can do it, the better. Another thing that's actually really helpful is when organizations really provide guardrails and guidelines for when people want to be in. Organizations and workplaces need to earn the commute. And one of of the ways they do that is by giving us the opportunity to be connected with our colleagues. So if we know that certain departments work together, maybe we have guidelines that they're in the office on Tuesdays and Wednesdays together, or we know that we're going to be in the office during core hours from 10 o'clock on a Tuesday to 3 o'clock on a Thursday. Whatever's right for that organization, those guardrails can be helpful. And another thing we know from the work-life literature is predictability is really helpful. When the schedule is really unpredictable, it can be hard to manage all the personal things and the work things. But when we have more predictability and routine in when we're showing up, in how we make those choices about how we balance our work in our life and reach fulfillment, that can be really helpful.
Sociologist Tracy Brower. Thank you so much, Tracy.